And welcome into a Sunday evening edition of Vikings Ventline. It's Zulgad, Manny, Hill. And if you're watching us on Twitter, Twitch, or Facebook, we appreciate that. If you're listening on SKOR North, we appreciate that. No matter where you are consuming the content, you can call in and weigh in on what just transpired. Vikings 39-10 over the LA Chargers in Carson, California. 651-646-8255. 651-646-8255. And if you did not see the final score, I'll repeat it slowly because I would say that we are not surprised the Vikings won, Manny Hill. I would say 39-10, a 29-point victory on the road. Hey, give the Vikings credit. It's impressive. But it's always nice when your opponent basically spends the second half saying, think we're done here.
Yeah.
Think we're going to make some business decisions here.
Yeah, the Chargers were awful in that second half. And really, Judd, we talked about it at halftime. The turning point of this game was the last highlight that producer AJ just played coming into the show. Adenigbo's scoop and score. That changed the entire landscape of the game. The Chargers were driving. They were in position to score before the end of the first half. And if they get a field goal there, it's 13-12 Chargers at the half, probably. And maybe we're looking at the second half differently. That was the turning point of the game right there. And it's interesting because that almost negated the Kirk Cousins interception, which in itself could have been the turning point of the game if the Chargers had ended up with a lead at halftime. But yeah, credit to the Vikings in the second half, and that the touchdown that they scored to go up, I think it was 32-10. Remember, I said here in the studio, I said, just go down the field. If you're the Vikings, go down the field, because I think they had forced another turnover, or the Chargers turned it over on downs or something like that. And I said, okay, Vikings offense, go down the field, score a touchdown, dagger this team, and send everybody home. And that's exactly what they did. They took care of business in the second half. It was really impressive.
Stat of the day, if you are the Chargers at least, or you're a Vikings fan, stat of the day, 7 turnovers by the Chargers. Phillip Rivers, the savvy old veteran quarterback, 3 picks today. Melvin Gordon, 2 fumbles, and then finally was benched for a substantial period of time. But yeah, you're right. The Vikings, God bless them, just like Detroit, presented with an opportunity. They won big or convincingly. But I'm sure most people have seen by now that the Packers beat the Bears today at Lambeau Field. And so now a week from tomorrow night, Packers and Vikings will be playing at US Bank Stadium in what will be a huge game. And I'm guessing that will be, if not well played, hard fought by both teams.
Yes, absolutely. And I think the Packers know, I'm sure the Packers saw the Vikings take care of the Chargers today. And I think the Packers will be coming into US Bank Stadium next week with the mentality of, let's try and dagger this team and put the division. I mean, the Packers have the inside track for the division. All they have to do is win their last 2 games against the Vikings and the Lions, or, if both teams finish tied at the top, then the Packers would have the tiebreaker. But if you're Green Bay, you're coming into that game next week with the thought of, putting this division to bed. And, and the Packers are also trying to play for a first round bye too. And if the playoffs started today, they'd be the 2 seed.
Vikings would get the Saints, correct?
Yep.
In New Orleans.
Yep, that's right.
Vikings Ventline, TCL Broadcast Studios, 651-646-8255. 651-646-8255. We will be here taking your calls as long as you feel like calling in and talking about what transpired between the Chargers and the Vikings. Let's start with our friend Ben in Florida. Hello, Ben. How are you?
Hey, guys. I'm doing good. I don't want to discredit the 7 takeaways. Anytime you get 7 takeaways against any team, I feel it's all impressive. I will say this though, Daniil Hunter is massively underpaid right now.
Oh yeah,
that guy just slung people around. He basically took over the ball game.
Phillip Rivers was so scared he dropped the football. He didn't fumble. He just said, "You know what? You want it? You take it. I'm done."
Hey, I don't blame Phillip Rivers. If I saw a guy that big coming at me, and based on what he did in the game, I would have dropped the ball myself personally. I would not want to get hit by that guy. Yeah, he's being massively underpaid. And Kirk Cousins played a good game. The interception was bad, but he played a good game. Hunter played a great game, and that's how this team won by 30-plus points. And I can't wait for the Packers next week. Everyone's thinking, and Green Bay has been kind of skating by with these not so impressive wins.
Mm-hmm.
I personally think the Vikings can win that game.
I do too.
If Hunter plays like that, they will definitely win that game. So,
all right, Ben. Thanks for the call. Appreciate it. And let's not, if we're going to hand out defensive platitudes, Manny Hill, let's not forget the play of the guy that we brought up about 17 times in the studio, Eric Kendricks. Going back out west was massive today.
Yeah,
and he has had
all year.
He has had a fantastic year.
Yep.
He has had a great year. But Hunter was great. Kendricks great. The secondary is leaky. The secondary scares you a bit, but that defensive front still, or parts of what basically constitute the front seven, there are parts of it that are really damn good. And Hunter and Kendricks are two of them.
Yeah, we saw Everson Griffin get some pressure on Phillip Rivers too. I mean, the front, I think the front seven of the Vikings is the strength of the defense right now. And you got Harrison Smith back there in the secondary too, and that helps. And
Harris is a good safety back there.
Yeah, he's
still very good. The cornerbacks are going to scare you.
Yeah, the corners are an issue, and I think they're gonna continue to be an issue. I mean, I like that Mike Hughes is getting more playing time than Xavier Rhodes, and we saw Xavier leave the game today with looked like a calf situation.
He cannot run at this point.
Yeah,
he cannot run at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I like that Mike Hughes and Holton Hill are getting more playing time, but I think at the end of the day, that's just going to be the weak part of the defense for the rest of the season until that's going to be fixed in the offseason.
Think about that though for a second. Did you ever think during Mike Zimmer's time as head coach of this team we would ever have a conversation saying what you just said?
I know.
Now I could see where it took a step backwards, and we're talking about, wow, it's not as good as it once was. But you're right. Right now, that secondary and those corners are the weakness of the defense.
Yeah,
it's remarkable.
And if that defensive front does not get pressure, and they got good pressure today on Phillip Rivers, and they forced him into some bad throws, and credit to the Vikings for that. But if that front, Judd, is not getting pressure on the quarterback, these corners are they're gonna get exposed every single week.
651-646-8255. Viking Ventline is the show. The location is the TCL Broadcast Studios. I'm Zulgad. He is Manny Hill. And now let's go to our buddy in South Carolina. Hi, Dave.
What's up, guys? How you doing?
What's up, Dave?
Not much. I just had to call. I said 40. It was 39. So I want y'all to continue to call me the Dalai Lama here.
Yes.
I said it would be a nice win. I also said to Kendricks and Barr. I think Barr also had he had a really good game as well.
Mm-hmm.
They did.
I think we're starting to see the pressure. We've been talking about it, Judd, for a couple months. I think we got more depth on the defensive line. I think we're getting more stunt and blitz inside. I think you saw that today. I think I don't care if he's a Hall of Famer or not. When you see middle pressure like that all day, and with the way that edge pressure is, like y'all talked about, he's not comfortable back there. So I think that was a big indicator. I am also a little concerned about the secondary. I still think Mike Hughes is a good ball player. And I'm going to tell you, I really like this Chris Boyd kid on special teams.
I agree.
And I think we're doing a good job. And that was my surprise today was, how well we played on special teams with Booney and Abdul having to, do dual roles. So, and also, I don't know if anybody's mentioned this, but I thought the offensive line has really continued to play well, a lot better. And how about Kirk?
The run blocking's been good too. Yeah, that's absolutely correct.
How about Kirk with the bootleg and decide he's going to slide, and then he says, "You know what? I'm going to take it to the house."
Yeah, it's not pretty, but what the heck, right?
It works.
But anyways, guys, I'm just here's my thing.
Yeah,
got to be Green Bay so that we can avoid going to New Orleans.
Yep.
So let's just worry about beating Green Bay, and then let's go to Green Bay in the first round and take it, unless we get lucky. And maybe they lose to the Lions in that last game. But I think we're going to show the country how good we are and how fraudulent the Packers are. I think it's coming up a week from Monday night. So.
All right, Dave, thank you.
Thank you.
I think the Vikings should win that game. I think the Vikings at home are a better team.
Yeah.
But as you said before, the way this all plays out and stacks up, it's going to be really hard because you're going to, if you beat the Packers still, you need some fortune.
Yeah.
If you're the Vikings, you need some fortune at that point.
Yeah, I think, Judd, I think for this team to go on a run, they've got to find a way to get one home game in the playoffs. And that obviously would have to mean that they win the division. And it's going to be tough, I think, for them to win. You're asking them to beat Green Bay next week, which is certainly possible. And right now I would pick them to beat the Packers.
I agree.
But then you're back home against Chicago, which you should be able to win that game. It could be tricky, but you should be able to win that
Chicago's game. Not going to quit here. That's the one thing.
Right.
They're not quitting.
But then on top of that, you're asking the Packers to go into Detroit against a team that has completely checked out on their coach, the Detroit Lions.
That team is trying to get.
To ask.
That team is working very hard, and I think successfully, to get Matt Patricia fired.
Right.
So good luck there.
Yeah. So I mean, even if you beat the Packers next week,
I don't think the Bears are going to quit.
No, they won't.
I think they're actually going to come here and try.
They
tried today.
Yeah, I firmly believe, Judd, that the Chicago Bears, with the success that they've had against the Vikings the last season and a half, going back to last year winning 2 games, and this year as well, the Vikings playing their worst game of the season in Chicago. I think that the Bears, that defense especially, and I know they're banged up, Roquan Smith out for the year, but I think they think, even if it might not be true, they think that they are in the Vikings' head. Particularly the head of the quarterback.
And they might be.
And I think the Bears at least believe that, and they're going to approach that Week 17 game with that thought in mind.
651-646-8255. Richard in Miami, you're up next.
Hey, what's up, bud?
Not much. How are you?
I'm all right. I was very impressed by I wish they played this way all through the whole season, but it is what it is.
Give them the Chargers more often than might, Richard.
Yeah, man, but I was very impressed to see all these turnovers, all these fumbles, everything happen in our favor. I love that Kirk Cousins scrambled. I was like, my mouth fell to the floor and I couldn't pick it back up. But, hey, we got the W and I'm happy. Skol.
Thanks, Richard. Appreciate the phone call.
Man.